everyone. You're listening to Alternative Revelations with Lina Emmanuel. This is podcast number 12, all about Carnivora, how it kills mycoplasma, the secret behind Carnivora. But first, again, I have to put this disclaimer in to protect myself from the FDA and the government so they cannot shut me down. I am not a doctor, nor am I a licensed practitioner. I cannot give medical advice. These podcasts are for informational purposes only. And now on with the podcast. This is probably the last podcast on plant-based protocols that kill or help kill mycoplasma. And Carnivora is made from the Venus flytrap plant. And if you are unfamiliar with the Venus flytrap, it is a carnivorous plant. And I am going to cheat here. I'm going to read to you from my book about the Venus flytrap. The Venus flytrap is a carnivorous plant whose source of food can range from beetles to spiders to arthropods. Its preferred diet consists of beetles, spiders, ants, and grasshoppers. Very seldom can it catch flying insects. How the plant traps its victim is as follows. When a potential dinner crawls along its leaves and comes in contact with a hair, the trap closes only when another hair is touched. This is usually within 20 seconds of the first encounter. This is because the plant is trying to save energy. Only then, after the second touch, will the leaf close, trapping the victim inside. The prey's movement only causes the leaf to close even tighter, forming a stomach where digestion can begin. Digestion starts by the release of plumbagin and enzymes. And Wikipedia describes plumbagin, I'll spell it, Plumbagan, as a toxin. Digestion takes around 10 days, at which time the prey is reduced to a husk of chitin. The trap then reopens and is ready for its next meal. Now back to the podcast. And how I got interested in the Venus flytrap is I just have a curious mind. And when I started doing the book in 2012, Alternative Revelations, I had been listening to a certain radio show, and one of the sponsors of this radio show was Carnivora, which is a product that is made from the Venus flytrap. I am going to pause here and give you a little history about the company that makes Carnivora. Carnivora was discovered in Germany in the 1970s by a Dr. Helmut Keller, but in those days it was illegal for the sale of Carnivora in the United States. And the manufacturers claim that during the Reagan days, President Reagan was diagnosed with colon cancer. Now, of course, like all of us, he probably knew how deadly chemotherapy is, I'm guessing here. But he would not do chemotherapy. Instead, he opted for Carnivora, and amazingly, he got well. And fortunately for us, it is not illegal to buy and sell Carnivora in the United States now. Well, of course, I have a curious mind, and I always want to know what was in the Venus flytrap that was igniting the immune system. So the first thing I did, I went on Carnivora website, and they listed about 17 phytochemicals in the Venus flytrap. But after researching every single one of these phytochemicals, I determined they were not alkaloids. So this stumped me, and there had to be some reason why this plant ignited and turned on the immune system within 3 hours of taking a capsule of Carnivora. And since the website, Carnivora's website, did not have the information I needed to determine why it worked, the next step was to go to a plant database where all the phytochemicals in the plants are listed. And before I reveal the secret as to why Carnivora does ignite the immune system is this: we have to go back to Beginner 101 about mycoplasma, that mycoplasma is encased in a double cell membrane made of a lipopolysaccharide, and that this membrane is called an endotoxin. And I'm going to read you the definition from Wikipedia about an endotoxin and what it is. And it is as follows: a large molecule of a lipid and a polysaccharide. They are found in the outer membrane of gram-negative bacteria and act as endotoxins and induce a strong immune response in animals. And I always like to tell people again that an endotoxin is to the immune system like a drop of blood is to the shark. It will create a feeding frenzy. And if you remember from the previous podcast how I talk about the Herxheimer effect, which is your body or your immune system responding to the dead mycoplasma when they throw off the endotoxin, which is their outer membrane. So you're probably wondering what the heck this has got to do with Carnivora. So what I did was I go on a plant database and I scour the plant. I go through each phytochemical, and sure enough, one of the phytochemicals in Venus flytrap that makes it potent and ignites the immune system is a lipopolysaccharide. There's your answer. Lipopolysaccharide is in the Venus flytrap. So the secret is now out. Now you know the secret to Carnivora, which at the time when I wrote the first edition of Alternative Revelations, Carnivora website did not cite or mention lipopolysaccharides in the plant. And amazingly, after the first edition of my book was published, it appeared on their website. It always made me wonder if they read my book. I guess I will never find out. Now, in some cases, I'm not a doctor, but in some cases, Carnivora might not be the answer. And this is why many people who have chronic mycoplasma infections, their immune system is suppressed. And this is going to lead into my next podcast, GC-MAF, mycoplasma, and Nagalase, why people's immune system are suppressed when they have a mycoplasma infection. So until next time, good night and God bless.